Welcome back to the next video, a short video in the series on Industrial Agile. Last video talked about the long-term planning, the master schedule in Agile, in Scrum specifically, talking about how backlog refinement, a one-off event to get the product backlog ready for sprinting, is actually your long-term plan, your master plan. Many years back, I wrote an article on what I then called 5 levels of planning, and addressing the same topic. And on one hand, it filled a need because Scrum by itself raised the impression that there is no long-term planning. On the other hand, it kept feeling like a waterfall approach, too much design work before actually sprinting happens. So let me address that. Let me link the article, 5 levels of planning, to the way I explained the master schedule in the previous video. Vision, idea, or attached to it some product analysis and some business analysis. A business case is probably attached to it. Maybe other documents that are needed in your company, and hey, there you go. There's a first level of planning, what I then called a vision. There's an idea for the product people about what is going to be built with a very short product backlog, very rudimentary. So the next step, the refinement of that product backlog with some specialists from the different groups, the different departments in your organization, product people, marketing people, technical people, services people, manufacturing people, gives a product backlog that is more refined, has got better estimates attached to it, and it's got a structure in it that says, hey, do this first from all the different perspectives, then do this, then do this, then do this. It is what I called in my article a product roadmap. With that product roadmap, we're starting to move more and more to the Scrum principle of working on only the most important work. It's kind of zooming in on that product backlog and starts adding more detail, refinement now with the engineers. They might have been present before, but now there's a moment where the engineers who will be doing the actual development, delivery work are in the picture, and their refinement zooms into just a couple of months worth of work. Avoiding waste, avoiding redesign later on, because change happens all the time in projects, just because time elapses. So with the engineers, and a focus of about 3 months is my favorite time, doing an update of the backlog, more detailed estimates, and ordering in such a way that the engineers say, this is workable in the delivery phase. It's what I called, in 5 levels of planning, release planning. The downside of that name is that it sounds like there will be a release after 3 months, and that's not necessarily true. It might take longer to really get a releasable product out of the door that's really fulfilling enough needs, the minimum viable product thinking. It might even go faster. You can, if you're working on an upgrade of an existing product, you might want to release, go to market after every sprint once that increment is there. All possible. So the name, it's what I used. If you want to call it quarterly planning, just as good a name. And then we're sitting in the Scrum cycle. Sprint planning is the next level of planning. And again, the zooming in keeps going on. 3 months horizon, 2 weeks horizon. And then the 5th level of planning is that daily planning session, that daily Scrum. On the top there is where the team just looks 1 day ahead, solves problems for the next day, so that they keep rolling. 5 levels of planning linked up with master scheduling, or if you want to stay true to Scrum, to that early backlog refinement cycle, the one-off, the edge case. Thank you very much.